Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. This is Natalie Rolls, and you are listening to the Bill Podcast. Brought to you in association with GeorgeFairbrother.com, shop.saturdaymorningpress.co.uk, vanguardcomics.co.uk, and gibconsultancy.co.uk. You won the London Critics Circle Theatre Award back in 81, Where There Is Darkness. So you became, you'd just done Babylon, all these incredible pieces that you were doing, and then still the theatre. What was your favourite venue that you performed at on stage?
Wow, that's really interesting. I don't know if it's stages or if it's productions. Riverside holds a lot because it's the early days. Although that's not my first. My first was John Antrobus's play called Up in the Hyde. And it was only later on I realized John Antrobus had written for Spike Milligan. And I didn't realize that but he was a lovely dude. I only had one little scene in the play. Just come on nervous, just spurting words out and then leave, then turn around and just still go, hi, yes, bye. And I was off. But then I went up for these series of plays at Riverside, and that's Peter Gill was directing there, and I think I learned a lot from him and from that period of time, because Riverside had a lot of theatres companies from abroad coming in, so you got to see all sorts and different in the way he staged Julius Caesar in a way where it was more contemporary, the staging. They'd broken away from the traditional, and that was that kind of period of time that we were all kind of like flowing around, again, a kind of transition from the heady, crazy days of the 60s and 70s and into another kind of realm.
Are you keen to do more theatre?
Yeah. No, I am keen to if something that one doesn't expect. I think sometimes we kind of get into culturally speaking, especially get into sort of a roundabout. Something stands out and you go, oh, wait a minute, oh.
Where could this go? What's this journey going to be?
I did a play at the Theatre Stratford East, and it was set in Jamaica, and it's about cops and robbers and stuff. But it was really, Goldie was in it. I give thanks definitely then to the fact that we get to do something that we love, we like. It's not every day, but
when it pops up, it's wonderful.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just it fills you up. It just gives you that kind of all right. I see. The dips and troughs, etc. But the pursuit of that story and that wonderful time. I did a season of the Conga at the Young Vic with Chuto Yojafo, Danny Q that was in it. Joe Wright directed.
Oh, Joe Wright!
Yeah, that was amazing. Just that experience of doing that play was amazing at Young Vic, and the whole atmosphere.
Now, he's an Islington boy, and he worked with puppets.
That's right. Anna Shears, he knows all the Anna Shears crew.
Yeah, that's it. So that whole, his background is really special. He's in a completely, he grew up around the puppeteering side of life.
I mean, he's 360 artist. He's an artist, definitely.
Incredible, man. Okay, I'm just going to bring you to the bill. Do you recall getting this regular role? And how was the character of Rob Thatcher sold to you?
Yeah. it's an interesting it's an interesting scenario because they present you with the thing. Rob Thatcher, he's so and so forth, blah blah blah. And I remember they were saying, oh, he's based loosely based on this compound that works in South London, and he's a dude that he doesn't want to do the little local thing. If it's the big stuff, he's about his front queue because he's ambitious. He wants to move on and so on and so forth. So there was that scenario.
And there was the Sam Nixon where you come from a previous station.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
right.
had that history
That's
of
sort of
something
history.
had gone
That
on.
really, that really, we didn't really go into, but there were sort of hints of that, and then it was about the art. But the thing about these kinds of shows, I suppose, in a way, the way that it's kind of built, the way it's kind of set up, is that you really don't get that arc in a sense. You have to sort of build the person as you go along. And I think they kind of see you and go, okay, well, we can write for him this way, or we can write for her that way, or so and so forth. So things sometimes just come at you. Oh, this is the scenario, so on and so forth. And so then you're learning a lot of exposition.
Mm-hmm.
So the character then really does come down to you. But then, I did ask, look, can we have a meet? Oh, yeah, we're gonna have a meet, and we're gonna sit down, we're gonna break it down, and blah, 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 and then so on and so forth. I think I finally did get that scenario, and it was all it was. It was just sort of like, yeah, if you just sometimes that we have an overarching thing, so that things in our past then affect us. So if something that's similar, you've got room to bring that back. But I feel that with a setup like that, and it's a commercial show, it's 8 o'clock to it's 8 o'clock to 9, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was 8 o'clock to 9. It was that slot.
I was looking back at some of your stuff because we didn't do too much.
I saw this episode where we did the fly fluffy. I was thinking, wow.
You and I on the way up to Tower Bridge, and we were like, this is something. They've got some money in this episode. We're up on the Thames giving it large, weren't we? We hadn't
hanging. We left. Yeah, very true. I remember it was billed at the time when it first started as a sort of Hill Street Blues version where the camera's going to roam like we're picking up life as it's happening, kind of, drama documentary style kind of vibe. That was
yeah.
It's kind of interesting because watching it now, it was shot on tape, right? I was shot on tape.
Yeah.
But there was this thing at the time, I think it was to do with frames per second, where you can make it look filmic.
Yes. 1080 times something or other.
And you can make it filmic. You can make it look, do you know what I mean? That it's filmic. And that would have sometimes I looked at it and it would just take it away from other shows of, the tape video style. I mean, look, sorry, not style, but the look of it. I always thought about that, but
there was some great stuff you had in there. And I've got a fan question from our Patreon producers. We've got a fan question from Ben Adams.
Okay, Ben. What's up, Ben?
Did Brian enjoy his guest stints on the bill, and does he think they paved the way to his regular role?
Oh, that's a good question. I enjoyed them because I like to play a character, get into something, and then leave it, and then go away, and then come back and be somebody else, or try to. So those things. I played a teacher once, I think.
I watched the episode where you were off doing the taxi.
Oh God, Biggie Tempo, that one.
That one. It was so good.
Biggie. What's the name? I thought I might have to sit down and work that one out. What should we call this character? Biggie Tempo.
From Africa.
Yeah. But it was a lovely idea. The idea. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was. It was a brilliant episode. You carried that.
I had fun. I had fun with that. It was something different. You're always trying to look for something different, aren't you? I mean, if you when you know sometimes you've got to pay the bills, babe. But in your heart of hearts, you know something where people go, oh gosh, you know, I was in Serbia recently. I did a thing called Miss Scarlet and the Duke, but it's set in 1800 London. But then when I researched it, I mean, there was a lot of brothers and sisters living well at that time, and it was shocking. I thought, oh, really? But I never thought that that would then lead into being a regular. That seemed to come out of left to center. I'm not sure how that kind of came about. No, to be honest, I was like, oh, really? Yeah, regular. Because usually if my agent, yeah, it's a bill. If you okay, that's an audition for a part. Well, what's he done this time? Uh, you know, so to find that no, and sit down with Paul and producer and go through, oh yeah, being in this, and I'm like, what? So what I did was my friend Jerry, who does fitness, I gave him some money to Jerry. That's all I got, man. I've got to do this thing, and we've got 2 months before I start. So in that 2 months, he just had me on the road. We did road work, then we did gym, kind of madness. But because I knew that kind of show is a train that keeps moving.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't, when it comes into the station, it may slow down, but it never stops. So you've got to be ready to run and jump on, to keep going because it keeps flowing. It's that kind of show. So I just had to be ready, and it really did help. That early part really, but no, just in answer to the question, I had no idea that was going to come up at all, but I'm glad it did.
Fantastic. Another fan question. Rob Cook
Hi, Rob.
asks, Brian appeared in the last series of Martin Shaw's police drama The Chief in 1995 as PC Charlie Webb.
Charlie Webb.
Charlie Webb. Does he have any memories of working on this series, and how did he compare it to working on the bill?
Oh, right. That's interesting. It's totally different from the bill. Let's just get that. It's shot differently, so the pacing is different. We're in Norwich, which is a very nice part of the world. I was hanging out in Norwich. That was a really nice part of the world. So it has a different atmosphere to it. And he was much more of an observer. Yeah, he was much more of an observer because I was Martin's driver. There was talk of, oh yeah, you're his confidant. You're the dude that okay. But so that was Martin's lovely. I'm like, gosh, I've seen him in the theatre and stuff. He was lovely. I worked with him again when the Strike series, Strike for BBC. Yes. I did the first series of that. I was in the first stories of that, and so I worked with him then. He's lovely. He was really really lovely. So it's totally different. There's a totally different style in terms of how it's more filmic, I think, if you know what I'm saying, because they were single camera, but I think they shot on film, and I don't think they shot on tape. Setups are longer because of that. It's a totally different kind of vibe.
Do you remember your first day on the bill as a regular?
Yeah. Wore a branch. All I remember was there's lots of lyrics. This you're going to be talking a lot, big, so just let's go. Yeah, there was a thing where I kind of flirt with somebody.
You were flirting with Tim Kiddie.
Right. That's it.
She introduced herself as Honey, and can you remember what you said?
Oh no, I can't.
It was something to do with pancakes and honey,
and so
yeah. And there was even a boo in there as well. And
you
even got the boo.
Well, you've got to own it though.
I love that about you. I watched you. You peppered your because whatever was given, like you say, there was a lot of exposition. So if you can't colour that with whatever they have given you, then you that's your job. You create it. That I think that was fantastic.
We all did that. You did that. We all had a little something that we brought. Do you know what I'm saying? That we've been working on. Because as I said, when you realize, it's not going to be, an arc, we'll sit down and this is going to go down and blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? It's going to throw stuff up at you and you've got to catch it. And, it's this. Okay. So that's down to you. So if you get a chance to be able to put in a little something, then
yeah.
Oh my God.
I know that you did the live episode, Rob Thatcher, and you started off with Eva Sharp at the very beginning. I mean, your heart must have been in your mouth.
Because you want to hear your voice. You want to hear something come out of your... That was all it was for me.
I wasn't asked to do it because I was luckily busy with McAllister other stuff. But when I look back at that and the sensitivity that they took with Mickey Webb's storyline as well, that was nice. That all of that was really, breathing in through there. Lovely. And I think that came out with you and Thatcher's character. You had the backstory about your family. Because
I replaced Scott, because I think Scott was going to do it, but he couldn't do it. So, lovely Scott Murphy, by the way. Big up, Scott.
Scott.
So I did the thing with Diane, and we're in a corridor. That's right. We're in a corridor. Somebody says something, and I'm just waiting to say, just so I can hear my voice. And then I say the lines, and I'm like, okay, we're in. And then we were just in, and it was crazy. There's a bit, I think is that it ends and sorry, no. It ends with the end of part 2 or 3. And, we've got to drive the car up to the camera. So I've got to drive the car up, park the car to get out. Okay. Now, ordinarily, you don't have to think about that. You drive, you get up, you get a car. But all of a sudden, I had to break down everything because I'm thinking, but if I get out of the car, then the car is still moving. Just, stuff like that. So I literally had to break down the whole thing of park, pull up, turn off, put this out, get this out. I mean, it was mad, but very exhilarating. I thought we pulled off a great act because people were saying afterwards to me, that wasn't live.
That was incredible. It was an incredible piece. Fan question. That was Tom Sherrington basically asked, what were your memories?
Oh, right.
Thank you, Tom, for that question.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
And how far in advance did you find out you would be appearing in the live ep, and how much rehearsal time did you get before the show?
I wasn't initially. Scott was due to do it. But the summer came up and...
You jumped in, I remember. I think, Scott, there was something else going on with lots of other episodes, and I think there was...
That's right. They crisscrossed. Because it was always, as I said, there were certain times, you would be on 3 different units. So there was 3 separate stories that you were...
Yeah, that's why I couldn't be in it. Because I was busy. McAllister was busy. But I was actually grateful because when I watched that back today, I was just like seat of my pants going, how did they do that? And I remember you with the car thing thinking, what if the car, something had happened?
Yeah.
Just a beat out.
So you have to break everything down. I think it was about, because I was already aware of it. So I think 10 days or something like that, within 10 days or something, a week.
Yeah.
A week.
Wow.
About that.
And it was Sylvie Bowden, she directed, but she broke it down. She really broke it down like theatre piece.
Yeah, she was great. And the setups, because you'd finished doing one, that first bit of it finished, and then we have to run across. And then you work out which is the best way for you to make that move. So I'm going to go from here and I'm going to get to that other set where the car is, so we can do the bit of us getting into the car before I take off.
You had a bit as well, getting in a doorway, because I was thinking about that. There was a piece with the kid who's got the mobile phone, who's the other side, and they won't let you in. and you and Di, she starts trying to knock the door down. Then the mum comes in, and then I was just thinking how complex and complicated this could all go
Go,
wrong.
yeah. I mean, people say to me, everybody was doing it at the time, as you remember, and let's not forget. I mean, the inception of television, especially from ITV, and were live. It was their dramas were live, man.
Yeah.
And I doff my cap off to
completely.
So we were standing on the shoulders of giants, really, in that sense. Well, however, I just thought that the crew, the camera teams, everybody, the cast, everybody was just on point. And after a few days of getting into it, it became exciting. I just needed that first scene. I just needed to hear that first bit. And once I heard that first bit, all right, cool. And then we were off. Yeah, it held up. I mean, people. I think that's the greatest compliment. What? Well, you that wasn't live. No, how was that live?
It bloody was.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Seat of your pants. It was brilliant. Oh, amazing. So, right, I'm going to come up. You've just mentioned Scott. I'm just going to say some names. Say the first thing that comes into your head. Scott Maslin.
Reggae music. No, that's something. But he was playing Sean Paul a lot at that time. I remember in his thing. Have you heard the Sean Paul album? No. Yeah, the Sean Paul album. So we listened to a lot of Sean Paul. I remember.
His music, because I was the other side of him, my dressing room. So I had all his music flavours. It was the best.
Music man. He's a music man.
Yeah.
Music man,
Scar at 7 a.m. Lovely. Like going, I'm trying to learn my lines, Scott. And he'd be just lovely man.
It's lovely energy because some days you need that energy to get through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's long days.
Yeah, you need people with that energy, the up.
I did notice like socially things started to shrink because there's a period of time where it's like home, lines, food, lines, bed. Get up.
Repeat.
The wind is blowing in your face. When we get that station,
Because you used to, didn't you? You used to get the Northern Line down, didn't you, to Morden?
Line. And that is
trek.
It's the same amount of time for me to get from Euston to Liverpool.
Isn't that bonkers?
For my doorstep.
Another name. I'm going to throw you another name. Tasita.
Ah, I saw in Rings of Power. I'm sure I saw it in the Rings of Power. She was lovely.
Beautiful woman. What a beautiful woman.
Yeah. Beautiful lady.
Russell Floyd.
Oh man, you see, it's weird, the more names you see, the more it just kind of like takes it back to that thing, takes it back to that time. I haven't been to that time in a long time, and that it's like
that is the beauty of these podcasts.
Wow, Russell was, it was jokes, man. He was jokes. He was such a lovely dude and very supportive. Yeah, very supportive. Yeah,
sensitive.
Very supportive, yeah, very supportive dude, Russ. Very supportive.
Roberta Taylor.
Wow, Roberta.
Oh.
Just sweet, really. Just sweet and a kind of kind of like a mum as well. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like you could talk to her on a level, and
good soul,
a good soul, a very, a consummate artist as well. She's got range. Everybody have range, It's come on, girl. I don't think that kind of the kind of work or the work it doesn't suit everybody. You know what I mean? It's a mindset, it's a way. You have people like Roberta in the field, who are already legends. It's a good anchor, especially for people that who are coming in on myself. It's a good anchor. So yeah, steadfast.
Absolutely. Simon Rouse.
Simon. Simon. I knew Simon. It's weird because, a lot of them you saw from before on things, and then he was, you'd see the building because it was a mainstay. So those people became familiar with. So it's funny because they're familiar to you, and then you meet them, and you're like, but Simon, he loved the theatre. He's a dude who loves theatre. Simon was lovely. You never knew sometimes if he was being serious or he was having a joke, and then it'd be a joke. You could do that, do that. He was do that. But yeah, it's very, we talked about theatre a lot. Yeah, sweetheart, yeah.
Lisa Maxwell.
Lisa. She told me that story about going to LA. She was up for Frasier.
Oh, okay. The girl that got it went to my school. Jane Leaves. She went up for the part of.
I was like, wow, Hollywood, because there's part and parcel of you, especially if you're a film fan, and people start talking to you about Hollywood, you get all wide eyed. It's like, really? Yeah. God damn. Because I know John Marcel, right? John Marcel's is a mate. And I remember when he went up for Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, when he went up for it, I said, oh man, what did you get? He goes, yeah. I was like, wow, wicked. And we went out for dinner, and a few friends went out for dinner to celebrate. And then years later, I bumped into him in West End, and I had to pull him off the street and find this place out because Italians were stomping, Spanish was stomping. It was in 128 countries in the world, that show. So it was so popular, they were able to renegotiate the contract on the repeats. Oh yeah, girl. Let me tell you. It was a dip that was like, what? When he told me, like, what? He goes, Brian, I was so fortunate. I was just so lucky. He's just so humble, such a lovely But yeah. So Jane, I'm Fraser. I'm like, hello.
Mark Wingett.
Mark Wingett. I knew Mark prior to this because his mate Trevor Laird was in Babylon. Trevor's my mate. And Trevor invited me. He said, Brian, come to the Old Red Lion on a Friday. So I've turned up. And that's where all the Anna Scher's posse used to hang out. They used to do plays in the theatre upstairs there, the little space. And then Tony used to lock the bar, and we'd stay there till like 1 or 2 o'clock So that's how I got to know Kathy and Zoe Nathanson. And some people are playwrights. Zoe's now my agent. So bizarre. She was this feisty actress back in the day, and Phil Daniels and all that, like Hugo Daly. And Joe Wright used to hang out there as well. He used to hang out. There was a lot of people used to hang out. Bill Nye used to hang out. Maggie Steen used to come down there. It was like Friday was the actors thing. And people used to put plays on and be in them every week, man. Every week. I always remember that. And that's how I met Mark, through Trevor, because they'd done Quadrophenia together. So and Trevor was in Babylon. So that was the link. Yeah, man. Yeah, he's.
Yeah, the ledge.
He's a ledge, you know what I mean?
A gorgeous girl's name here, Beth Cordingley.
Oh, Beth. Sweetie.
Boo.
Sweetie, boo. She was lovely, lovely laugh. And I'm still Facebook friends with her. So when she was always posting, I'm like, holler at her. I said, yeah, girl, we're still here.
Flying that flag.
Flying the flag, baby. Yeah. Oh, Beth, man. Wow.
Isn't this nice, having a dive and just going back through all these memories?
You're freaking me out when somebody said, would you like to come? I was like, oh, gosh. It exists in my memory as images, scenes, moments, times of year, like in the wintertime, going into the studio in the dark and coming out in the dark. Never seeing the day, you remember?
Never seeing, of course.
Because you get there, suddenly it'll be dark. You do the day, you come out and it's dark.
And then you've got to go on the tube and it's dark.
You know what I'm saying? So,
who was your dressing room mate? Were you round by that Tea Point area, or were you up by Simon and Cyril?
So it was on the other way. I was going to down that way by you because I'm sure it was either opposite or close.
I was next to Scott, and then
you
it's
was next
sort
to
of.
Scott, yes, and I know.
I think you were that way. You were that way, weren't you?
That end.
I think it was Suze and I. Then it was Scott next door. Didn't you move in with Scott at some point? I
moved in with Scott. That's right.
That's it. It's come to me now because you definitely.
Because I remember one day doing press ups, and I was making a lot of noise. The hell is he doing? Because all he could do is.
This is Natalie Rolls, and you have been listening to the Bill Podcast. Brought to you in association with GeorgeFairbrother.com, shop.saturdaymorningpress.co.uk, vanguardcomics.co.uk, and gibconsultancy.co.uk. The Bill Podcast is produced by Oliver Crocker, co-produced by Ben Adams, Glenn Allen, Glenn Cooney, Georgina Dark, Sarah Kuiper, Bryony Kelly, Maz Mirabilis, Alex Mockler, and Simon Wolfe. Our executive producers are Isabel Allen, Ben Ashmore, Mark Bennett, Rob Cook, Alana Dewar, Andrew Dyack, Dan Evans, George Fairbrother, Stuart Gibbon, Luke Hegarty, Robert Hoger, Edward Kellett, James Ledane, Thomas Johnston, Gary Moncur, Danny Morris, Steph Morris, Laura Pinney-Fay, Alistair Wrigley, Michael Seeley, Nicholas Shaw, Angel Stannard, Paul Statter, Patrick Stratford, Michael Weil, and Sarah Went. Huge thanks to all you lovely producers who make the Bill Podcast possible. Bye for now.